Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Random Drop. And today, a new Dragon Age trailer has been released. Now a little bit of history with me. I do really like the series and I've enjoyed it quite a bit over the years, but it's been 10 years. And the last game was Inquisition. The first trailer, it really didn't excite me very much. That was a really dumb trailer with all the flashy titles, and it was just a really bad trailer. It made it seem like a free-to-play shooter or an Overwatch game. It was a really odd choice. Then the actual gameplay came out, and other than a couple like monster design things and like just art style things I'm not completely connecting with. Overall, I thought like, oh hey, this looks better tonally and so forth. But there's still some things I want to see, like the combat and what the actual story and the actual world is going to be like, as that snippet we got was really small, but there were certain things there that were like, okay, yeah, this is still Dragon Age. It didn't seem to change very much other than it's just like more actiony. I'm hoping this trailer kind of gives me a better feel on what the actual premise of the game is and what we're going to be seeing next. There have been interviews out there talking about that stuff, but that's something I'll get into whenever like we're scrolling back through the video. I'm going to watch it once and then we're going to go back through it and see what I can pick out of the little images in the video and give my overall thoughts. So hey, let's get into the trailer for Dragon Age the Veilguard, the release date trailer.
Hey everybody, before we get started, I just wanted to say, if you enjoy our content and want to stay up to date with our videos, hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel. Thanks. So, on to the video.
BioWare Electronic Arts.
You have no idea what you
Oh, it looks like they're using a new rook.
The blighted elven gods walk free, all because you disrupted my ritual.
And this is what I was hearing in the interviews, that
You battle against gods.
the premise, part of the premise
They will
is
not rest
the ritual goes awry because of you knocked over a statue,
fearful,
and the
cowering,
Evanurus
helpless,
are released.
such power.
And I guess the premise of the game is to stop them.
Rook, you've got this. I've seen your work.
The game looks good, man. It's a slight art style change, but Inquisition doesn't look great anymore.
Know when to quit.
There's just like a couple monster things that just don't click with me, but I think everything so far looks incredible, especially the city.
You want allies to go after the gods? I've got places to look.
Where do we start? I'll be damned. A griffin. In war, victory.
Yeah, like I'm just seeing more and more of this art.
I'm ready.
That first trailer was so bad.
There's something kind of exciting about it.
Showing all the environments. We're gonna be seeing a lot of mines. Oh, the dwarf using stone magic or whatever it was from the DLC in Inquisition.
Let the fade draw close.
Even the necromancer's face is less exaggerated in the actual game compared to the trailer.
You and me, Rook. Maybe that's what scares me.
These are the times in which legends
Of course you're here.
slain.
Of course you're here. I hope she's an actual party member instead of like a weird cameo. But maybe that character has too much history. It's a lot of dialogue.
Our gods. How do we stand against that?
Is that, I'm guessing that's an old god dragon.
So let's get it done.
Execution. The dragons get Fenrir, okay. We're gonna see a lot of kaiju battles. See the ogre, dude. The ogre kills me how goofy he looks. And of course, pre-order armor, because this is EA, of course. At least they're not hiding a fucking character this time. Quick thoughts before I scrub back through is, yeah, so what I'd learned from just been reading interviews and stuff, it is that, hey, that gameplay demo was the very beginning of the game, basically, and you accidentally fuck up Solus's plan to put the Evanurus into basically the bad guys of the whole lore, or like the evil elves, put them back into a different prison, because that's what his plan was. Here was he was going to separate the prison and then tear down the veil, because if you did it at the same time they would come out as well, right? Well, looks like that got fucked up. by us. Maybe he should have told us or something. I don't know. But yeah, it looks like his whole plan falls apart. And from my understanding, Solus is not going to be a companion, but he's going to be around and kind of guiding you through your adventure, and I guess giving you more information and lore on what you're dealing with and what the best way to do to seal it with. That's the thing story-wise that I'm just like kind of, it's just like, okay, evil bad guy comes to the world. Whenever Trespasser ended and it was that like conflict of, hey, I'm gonna do this shit, and like Solus seemed incredibly evil, but of course he had his very good reasonings. It seems like that like plot line is just completely thrown out to the side, and Solus is not gonna chase that anymore. Or maybe the very final act is him actually betraying us, and we actually have to fight Solus and deal with him for once and for all, because he's still going to try to tear down the veil even after we deal with Evanurus. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that was the most interesting plot line carrying over from Inquisition. That was like, oh man, I really want to see that play out. And if it just plays out into this thing where we just like mess up his ritual after all these years of planning, and now he's like with us, yeah, it's just way less interesting. And it's just more of an apocalypse is coming across the world, and there's these bad guys we got to reseal and take care of. It is just a better told Inquisition, right? It's like, oh hey, a tear in the world happened in Inquisition, we gotta go stop it. But now there's like a decent villain we can chase after. Caduceus, whatever the fuck his name was, the dumb mage, the old one they called him. I already forgot his name, man, and I just played Inquisition. He had some banger ass lines, but he's such like a letdown because just of how there's a lot of things, right? It's like how Inquisition is designed to be a more open world game, and from what they've been talking about, Veilguard is just going to be more section based, just like Origins was, right, where you just go to a section of the map. And some of those sections in Inquisition too weren't these large open areas. They were basically like big dungeons that you can go back to, and there's secrets and things like that. But it's not a sprawling map where there's just a bunch of dumb bullshit that you don't want to do. They are going more to be a bunch of set piece areas. I mean, Mass Effect 2 and 3 were like built that way as well. You go to a planet, but the planet is just a large dungeon. But that is totally fine if they pace it out correctly. The choices matter, the banter and dialogue's good. That's all that matters. We don't need to fill it with a bunch of dumb bullshit like Inquisition did. So overall, I think the plot is going to be paced out a lot better in Veilguard because of the very nature of the game, and that gives me high hopes. Maybe Morrigan will actually like get to do something rather than just show up in the very last act and do a couple things. But there's like some interesting character things with Morrigan that happened that it's like, man, I wanted to see more of that. And I wonder how that stuff is going to carry over to this game, because I understand they are going to give us another thing where you fill out what happened in the previous games if you've played them before. And there's a very big thing that like Morrigan's character is very different depending on a certain choice from one. So I would really like to see that play out. It looks super solid. It looks going to be very bombastic and huge and big, which is good, right? You need those elements, right, of like fighting giant dragons and monsters and whatnot. And they'll probably be able to do it better now compared to like in Inquisition when you fight the nightmare demon lord, but you fight like this shitty little avatar and then you kind of run away from the fight. And then like those really clunky dragon fights and things like that from Inquisition. If they're going to go full on action, then make it a spectacle. Right, it is basically what I'm saying. Clearly, Varric at the beginning of this is saying like shit like, where is it at?
Coward.
You've got this.
Yeah, clearly, Varric has death flags. Bianca is broken in the fucking gameplay demo, and he's talking to you like, hey, you got this. You don't know when to quit. You can do it, man. Dude's dead. And he's not in the party, and he's not in the promo art. Varric dead as shit, or just wounded for the most of the game or something. Yeah, just showing a bunch of like art and little snippets of the characters, which is a lot better, right? Showing little snippets of the like, oh, this is like the Rift girl, whatever, right? She's messing with technology she doesn't completely understand, but she's probably like the most capable one or the willing one to do it. Better than a cut to a trailer where she jumps out of a portal and just like, I'm the Rift jumper, guys. Like, no, I can infer a lot out of just showing me little snippets of the characters, like with the Necromancer, big green fucking tomb-like area, Green Lantern talking to a skeleton. He's probably a necromancer, you guys. This is such a better trailer. I imagine this trailer went through so many revisions, especially after the backlash from the first one, the Morrigan reveal, right? Which I wish they kind of didn't reveal that, but Morrigan sells games. She does. Like straight up, she sells games. I wish that was a surprise for in the game. A little bit of combat and just like events happening in the game. It seems like it's the fucking skeleton, man. God damn it, it's pretty good. But it seems like it's gonna be like a really better paced, bombastic adventure. It might be way more linear than the previous ones, but as long as the decisions you make kind of change up the variations for multiple playthroughs of like maybe you go to different places depending on the choices you make, fight different bosses and whatnot, that'd make it more interesting if they are going for this way more linear structure, because like you felt those choices in Dragon Age Origins, I feel like, and then 2 kind of felt them less because they kind of go to the same go the same way, and Inquisition you kind of just don't feel them at all. So my hope is, hey, now that they're like way more focused down again, that the dialogue and choices pay off, because frankly, like combat wise, it's probably not gonna be the bee's knees, right? It's gonna be a dumbed down RPG, and as a RPG lover, it's sad to see, but this is just not one of those franchises anymore. I need to go play other games for that type of stuff, right? Where you're managing your party and stuff like that and learning about them. Go play Baldur's Gate, go play Pathfinder, and so forth. Those games are out there now, and this franchise is just not going to be one of those anymore. So like, yeah, I mean, I doubt the combat's going to be amazing or something that's going to make me want to come back to it, obviously. But yeah, the last thing I really want to see before this game comes out is just a solid gameplay demo of a character that is way higher level, so I can see like, hey, now that you don't control party members, what is the flow of combat? How does it all feel? Is there any strategy and so forth, right? I want them to do the Final Fantasy 16 equivalent of going to a fight an S rank hunt, where they got one of the developers and they were like, okay, this is one of the hardest things to fight in the game. Here is the designer fighting it. And you just see him do some batshit crazy things and never get hit. But you see like, okay, this is what this game is and what the combat is at its pretty much highest level. And it doesn't be like that insane, but something to that degree, right? Like I want them to go into an arena and just like fight some shit and like let me look at the game instead of a bunch of little cuts. I want them to fight a thing that probably takes longer than 3 or 4 minutes to kill, right? I want a actual battle to go on to kind of gauge like, hey, what is this combat like? What I think it's going to end up like is probably a lot like just a action RPG like God of War, and probably even more simpler than that. But yeah, that's where I landed. Like I'm excited for the game, right? I'm going to play it, probably enjoy it. There's lots of things I wish it was, and it's never going to be again. But the story of Solus at the end of Inquisition has me invested to see how this plays out. And it's very possible it doesn't play out very well, sadly, right? The way this seems to be going. But who knows, right? I'm inferring a lot here, honestly, and emotions are high and whatnot. Hey, TLDR, trailer looks super solid. This is probably what they should have shown in the fucking first place, which is actually a mix of gameplay and lore and story and the whole premise of like, hey, what is this game supposed to be and what is it about? How does it look? This is that trailer. Thank fuck. Now I need more like the deeper dive gameplay trailer, because that first intro gameplay trailer is just not it. It just shows very little, man. Hey, let me know what you think down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next random drop video. Peace.